Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sally Hermezi. I'm from Sultan Qaboos University. I will be with you through a set of videos in order to explain the basic computing skills through using the book of basic computing skills in Foundation Program IT department. Today, in this video, we will start with Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is talking about computer fundamentals. In this chapter, we will go through a set of topics. The topics that we will cover in this chapter are: what is a computer system, the basic parts, the characteristics, clarification, classifications, descriptions, the memory input-output device, secondary storage, measurement of data storage, computer ports, and then we will go through the software. What do we mean by software types, and then how to buy a computer, health and safety issues, privacy and data protection, and Omani legislation on data protection. Let us first start with what do we mean by a computer system. A computer system divided into two parts. One first part called hardware and the other part called software. A computer is an electronic device that accepts data as input, then stores this data and do some process, and then creates a set of results as an output. This figure can show us how we are using the computer system. Here we have the input device, either it's a keyboard or mouse or any other input devices. We use this input device in order to input data into the computer. When the data goes inside the computer, first it goes immediately into the main memory, which we call RAM, and then the CPU takes the set of data or instruction and do some process, then returns back a result again to the main memory. Now the result, which is on main memory, either stored inside storage device, just like a hard disk or any other storage device, or we can show it as an input, as an output using any output device, just like monitor, printer, or other devices. In any computer, you can see basic parts, which are the system unit, this case, we call it sometimes case or black box or system unit. We have monitor, keyboard, and the mouse. This is the basic parts of the computer. The computer system divided into two parts, which is the hardware. This is the part of hardware which we can see and we can touch. And the other part is software. A software is anything inside the computer which helps us to work with this computer, just like the operating system or any other application software, just like Microsoft Word or Paint program or any other programs like Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and others. Everything in life has its own characteristics. Also computers, they have their own characteristics. We listed 7 of computer characteristics, which are: first one is speed. Speed is the most important characteristic for a computer. Whenever you want to buy a new computer, almost the first thing you ask about is the speed. While the rate of any computer is at million or billion of instructions per second. So a computer is able to process millions or billions of instructions per second. Another characteristic is storage. Computer can store a large amount of data depending on its RAM and its hard disk. Accuracy. A computer has a very high degree of accuracy, which depends on the instructions and the type of processor. Reliability. Computer provides a high speed and very reliable infrastructure, which you can depend on and do all your process and save all your data inside. This is what we did while we converted from manual to computerized system. Everything before was manually written, and then we converted to computerized. And you should have some reliability on the computer that Nothing will damage, and you will have your data stored there. Versatility means uh, that doing more than one task or multiple tasks on the computer. For example, here, what I'm doing now, I'm reading a file from Adobe Reader, and at the same time, I can go and open another program like PowerPoint or Word. At the same time, I can go through Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox, so we can open more than one program at the same time. Intelligence, computers being a machine, doesn't suffer from any tiredness, while human beings, when the time passes, they suffer uh, from sitting in front of a machine. They could have some pain. So that's why computers are better in a work than human beings. Resource sharing. Today's computers have the capability to connect with each other. So in this case, they can share files, they can share resources. Like for example, you could have in an office more than one computer, like 4 computers, and 4 of them are sharing the same printer. Benefits and usage of computer. Almost we are using computer everywhere in our daily life. But let us have here 5 places or 5 locations which we mostly use the computer in. First of all, information management. To do the information management, we are using the computers in banks and other supermarkets, shopping centers for purpose of information management. We're using computers for purpose of education, like using a computer in universities, colleges, schools. Using computer for purpose of communication. We are using many communication programs uh, in order to communicate with other friends, with our families, somewhere else through the network. We use a computer for purpose of office presentation, just like using a Microsoft Word program or any word processing program, spreadsheet programs. We are using also the computers for purpose of family computers, like using the computer at home for purpose of fun. Kids, they are using it for uh, games and for education. And also we are using it for some simple programs which we use at home. Now let us go through the classification of computers. We have different type of computers. The first one is supercomputer. Supercomputer is very fast and very expensive machine. They are used in almost sensitive application, which requires a huge amount of computation. They use it in satellites, for example, and sometimes they use it in also the weather forecasting application. Another type of computer, which we call the mainframe. A mainframe property is multi-user, multi-programming. It has a high performance, and people, they use this type of computers almost in insurance companies and which needs some large number of transactions. We have also the microcomputers. We can divide microcomputers into a set of types, just like the desktop computer. This is the desktop computer, which has a case, monitor, keyboard, and a mouse. This computer is widely used in our life, in office, at home. You can find this type of computer. It comes from different organizations, just like Apple, Microsoft, HP, Dell, Lenovo, and other PC manufacturers. Other type of uh, microcomputers is a notebook. Sometimes we call it a laptop. This one is not expensive. Everybody can buy, almost everybody can buy it. It's small in size and it's portable. You can take it and move it uh, between home, office, uh, or university or other places. Personal Digital Assistance PDA, it's a real-time microcomputer that trades off power for small size and great portability. It has touch-sensitive LCD screen. We use it for both output and input. PDA communicates with desktop computer also, and they have infrared beams, and PDA, we can use many programs on a PDA which has good power, just like appointment calendar, to-do list, address book, which we use in order to fix some appointment. Mostly business people, they use this type of computer. Handheld computer, those are very small microcomputer that also looks like a laptop because it has a keyboard. This device typically looks like a tiny laptop than the PDA. It has a flip-up screen and a small keyboard. Smartphones, cellular phones that has a functionality which looks like a PC. It comes from different companies, just like Apple, HTC, Nokia, LG, and so on. Tablet computer, which nowadays most people are using, have feature of notebook computer, but can access input from a stylus or a pen instead of a keyboard or a mouse. Let us come now to another type, which is workstation. A powerful desktop computer, which is designed to meet the computing need of engineer almost. Set of computers, all those computers are connected to one computer, which we call it a server. But those computer has no case. It has only monitor, keyboard, and a mouse. Network computer, we use it almost everywhere nowadays in our universities, in offices, inside companies. Sometimes we call it a network computer. This consists of server and clients, several computers, which we call them clients. They are connected to one computer, which is called a server. And they can share the same software which is on the server. Now let us come to the description of microcomputer parts. If we start with the system unit, suppose we open the system unit, so you will see those parts inside. Let's start with the memory slots. Here we have 4 memory slots. A memory slot is a place which we connect our memory or a main memory inside. Those two are the main memory, or we call them RAM. They store data temporary. We have here also the 3 expansion slots. And on one of them, we have the expansion card. This is the expansion card. We have also the CPU. This is the CPU, Central Process Unit. And also the power supply. This is the power supply. Beside the power supply, there is some small fan. Hard drive. This is the hard drive to store all the data inside the computer. Here, this is a DVD drive and the floppy drive. All those are connected on one green big board at the bottom, as you can see, which we call it a motherboard. Now, types of system unit, it comes in 2 types. First one, this one, we call it a tower version, and this one, which we call the desktop version. Now, this is the motherboard, which we saw already at the top. The motherboard is a main circuit board inside the system unit, and it hosts all computer central process unit, expansion slots, and data communication buses, and others. We will start talking about central process unit, CPU. Sometimes we call it also processor or microprocessor. We call it the computer virtual brain because it computes or it does all the operation inside the computer. Central processing unit includes 3 parts. First part called the arithmetic and logic unit, or ALU. This arithmetic and logic unit performs all arithmetical and logical operations. Now, to do those operations, CPU needs to store the data. In order to store the data, it has registers inside it. Those registers help the CPU to store the data inside the CPU. And to control bringing the data from RAM into CPU and then return it back to RAM, then storing the data on register and then processing on ALU, this needs control. So the control unit controls and sequences the operation to be performed by the CPU. Now, what do we mean by data bus or data bus size? A data bus is the pathway connecting the microprocessor to the memory storage. It's used to transfer program instructions and data from memory to CPU and back. So let me show you this picture. Data comes from RAM into CPU and goes back again from CPU to RAM. So there should be a pathway here. The pathway here, we call it a data bus. It affects the computer performance because it determines how much data can be moved. Now, what do we mean by speed? The speed with which the microprocessor operates depends on two functions. First, the microprocessor design, and the second is the speed of the system clock. The speed of microprocessor is measured by number of cycle per second, which we write the equation here. 1 megahertz equals to 1 million cycle per second. We have one technology called coprocessor and multiprocessor. Those technologies are used in special companies where we need to have more than one processor inside the computer. However, some processor can have specialized tasks. In general, multiprocessing helps to speed up the computer considerably. Expansion slots. Expansion slots are the slots which we can connect or plug in additional circuit board into the motherboard. For example, we can use expansion slot in order to connect a sound card or connect a graphic card or a network card. Computer ports. A port serves as interface between the computer and other computer peripherals. We have different types of computer ports. Just like this one, we call it serial port. The serial port has two types. One type 9-pin and the other type 25-pin. We almost use it with connecting modems or old mouse. Parallel port, this is faster than the serial port, and we can use it with printers or connect printers or some type of scanners. Universal serial bus, this one, which we use it in order to connect flash memory or a scanner or a printer or some type of cameras or flash. PS2, maybe we have two ports available for PS2, one for keyboard and the other for mouse. Video graphical array, VGA. This VGA, we use it in order to connect the monitor. And we have the Ethernet port here. We use it in order to connect the LAN or local area network. Now let us explain the main memory. The main memory divided into two parts. The memory itself is divided into two parts. The first part called the primary memory or one main memory, and the other part is called secondary memory. Let us start with the primary memory. Primary memory is used to immediate access of data. So in this device, the user stores data like temporary. So whenever you close the computer, this data is lost. This type of memory, we call it RAM. It's a main memory which the user can store its data on, and the data stored here temporary That means whenever we close our computer, all data will disappear from the RAM. Another type of main memory, we call it ROM, which is read-only memory. Read-only memory stores system programs and routines, and we can read from it only. While the RAM, it's read-write. We can read from it and write. But ROM, we can read only. It's a permanent memory. It comes from a manufacturer, contains some set of programs and routines related to the computer system. The data stays inside the ROM whenever the power is cut off. One of its tasks, it holds a routine called post routine, power on self-test routine. This routine, is a set of diagnostic routines that ensures that the computer functions properly each time it is powered on. So this was the main memory. The main memory divided into two parts, random access memory RAM and read-only memory ROM. The other type of memory is secondary memory. Secondary memory is any type of memory which is connected to a computer and you can take it out of the computer and connect it to another computer. Just like, let us say, flash memory, external hard memory, and we have also the hard disk, and we have CDs, many type of secondary memory we are using in our daily life. Here we have units of data storage. We have multiple units, just like byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte. But the smallest one is bit, while each 8-bit, we consider it as 1 byte. And also 1 kilobyte is 2 to the power 10 bytes, means 1024 bytes. The megabyte equals 1024 kilobytes, the gigabyte equals 1024 megabyte, and the terabyte equals 1024 gigabyte. We have different type of secondary memory, as I said, the hard disk, external hard disk, flash, and so on. Let us list some of them. We have magnetic tapes, which is used to take regular backup. We have a floppy disk drive, which in the past they were using it. It comes with very small size. The common type of floppy disk is 3.5 floppy disk that can store up to 1.44 megabytes. The hard disk drive, which is inside each and every computer, it has a big size, very huge size. It comes sometimes 500 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, or more. Inside the computer, we refer to it either as a drive C or D or some other letter. External hard disk is a portable hard disk that can be used to copy or save data and information. Optical devices, a small optical circuit disk on which data such as a sound, text, graphic, image is digitally encoded. The following are examples of optical device: CD, DVD, and BD. CD, which is the compact disc, is made from 1.2 millimeter thick disc, and we can store on it our data. CD are available in multiple sizes: 120 mm in diameter with a 74-minute audio capacity. We have 650 megabyte standard capacity, and we have 700 megabyte digital. What about the DVD, which is digital versatile disk? Can save more information. It could be as a single layer, single side DVD, which can store up to 4.7 gigabytes. It could be as a 2-layer DVD, which allows a capacity of 8.5 gigabytes. And a 2-layer double-side DVD allows a capacity of 17 gigabytes. We have also another technology, which is Blu-ray disc, BD. It's an optical disc storage media designed to take over from the DVD format. The plastic disc is 120 mm in a diameter and 1.2 mm thick. It reads, we can store data on it as a single layer BD can store 25 gigabytes. Dual layer BD can store 50 gigabytes. Triple layer BD can store 100 gigabytes. And quadruple layer BD can store 150 gigabytes. Flash drive, all of us, we know the flash drivers. We use them in order to store our files, folders inside. Now let us go to another set of devices which is called input devices. The devices through which the interconnection and input data are provided to the computer, just like a keyboard, and we have also a mouse, which we have two types of mouse, mechanical mouse and the trackball. We have also the touchpad, we have a light pen and joystick. Scanner also is type of input devices. Web camera is input device. Digital camera also save image and it could be an input device and output device. Optical character reader is a device which detects alphanumeric characters. Barcode reader is also a device which reads barcodes. And a voice input system is also one type of input device. What about the output devices? Output device is a device where we can see our results or computer results, such as monitors, projectors, printers, and speakers. Also, we have another type of devices which we call communication device. These communication devices are used for communication between computer and other devices. Modem is popular communication device which is normally used for internet communication. Infrared, Bluetooth, and LAN card are examples of communication devices. Now we finished talking about the hardware. In the next video, we will talk about the second part, or sorry, third part, which is the software.